Absolute gazelle with the stickiest of footwork. The ball's glued to his feet. We're talking about a Cyclops or a Nightcrawler, but not a Wolverine or a Superman. Also known as the Doctor. He saves lives, takes temperatures, and he scores goals. What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hit the LaBelle. Turn on the notifications. Today, we're talking icon center attacking midfielders. That's right, attacking mids. We're getting into one of those highly recruited positions for icons on the virtual pitch, and you have options. I thought about going through everyone. There are 22 icon center attacking mids from my calculations if we're not looking at multiple iterations of the same player, but instead I felt as if most of you are going to use the top 10. So let's go ahead and condense and put that into the content that you want to watch, that you're here for. I've got you covered. Like the video, share with your friends. Welcome to the channel. This is where greatness meets greatness with icons, legends, rebrands, lots of quality gameplay at twitch.tv/Mike LaBelle. And before we get started, criteria, simple, but I need you to know. This is how we've aligned everything. It plays a factor. All these players must be an icon. Must be a center attacking midfield default position. So we're not taking center forwards. Those guys go into the striker video. We're not looking at center mids or holding mids that could play a center attacking mid. This is also ability based. We're not taking value into consideration and price points. And only one iteration of a player is allowed into our list. Understand, you're seeing eye to eye, I'm seeing eye to eye. Comment below, center mids, holding mids. Who you got? Top 5, top 3, maybe even the top 10. I'm making that video next. Run it up. Baggio, also known as the Italian Brazilian or the Brazilian Italian. He's a rare breed of player. In fact, I'm not sure we're going to see another national team switch up. He didn't actually switch up, but I'm talking about the way that he plays on the virtual pitch or on the real pitch. Just effortlessly coasting by the opposition. Skill moves on a premium. Absolute gazelle with the stickiest of footwork. The ball's glued to his feet. In fact, I believe that EA did an injustice here. His agility and his balance should be a little higher, in my opinion. They didn't give him the extra toppings. Figo, 88 overall. Good, just not next level. And I like to be very particular. I like to be critical. This foot item should be terrorizing the streets of Portugal, but instead he's just doing enough to keep his job, to keep his status, and to make the community happy. I think I've made him into a superhero. If that were the case, he'd be a second-tier superhero. Still has those abilities, has those superpowers. We're talking about a Cyclops or a Nightcrawler, but not a Wolverine or a Superman. I am going to trigger some people with that comparison because I know a lot of you have enjoyed, have partaken, know all about Marvel, the comics, the movies, all inclusive. Blanc, 85, baby variation. Most unpredictable icon ever. At least this iteration in particular. The amount of FIFA installments that we have talked about Blanc, his 85, where I think that he's really gifted, such as FIFA 21. And in other FIFA titles, I believe he's trash. Can't use him, can't touch him, don't want him, don't maneuver with them. Positioning's not right, doesn't gallop through the midfield properly. You don't feel his presence. But this year, godsend, at least the FIFA gods. They gave us a savage, 6'4", just takes up space everywhere. Lunge game is official. Socrates, also known as the Doctor. He saves lives, takes temperatures, and he scores goals. He's an unusual player, unorthodox. In some regards, it reminds me of his countryman Talisca, the rule breaker iteration that I am in love with. Most caps in my current FIFA 21 club. They're not necessarily that similar, but they just aren't the norm. 6'3", 6'4", has the skills, has the weak foot, has the offensive capabilities. With Socrates in particular, often you see him used as a center mid. Doesn't always make sense, but it works. There's something special about this lifesaver that is a double play on words. Candy, and he's a doctor. You with me? ZIdane, box to box. The Dutch six-pack returns. Unfortunately, I actually prefer his 88 overall, but that player or that version does not fit into this list. Even though you're not necessarily going to play ZIdane as an attacking mid, you'd be looking for a true center mid or a holding mid. That guy's just in better shape, gives you a better complete package, and I also think he's more expensive, so it's kind of supported by his price point because he's not necessarily as rare and he is lower rated, but people still prefer that version in comparison to his higher rated prime variation. But Seedorf has to be in this list. Kaka. And I'm going to tell you right now, the final 5, including Kaka, are in much different level of tiers in comparison to the first 5. Now, they're all great players. They're all deserving of their icon status. They're very iconic. But the top 5 is going to be a little more standoutish, especially if we're talking about FIFA, which we are. And Kaka is also one of my favorite players of all time. There's an icon SBC if you want to unlock this Kaka. It's going to be expensive. I watched so much Serie A because of Kaka. Champion, Ballon d'Or winner. It's a beautiful thing the way that he was able to maneuver on the virtual pitch. Just had all this grace. Played the game in a beautiful manner. Almost seemed as if he was scoring goals politely. Maradona, one of the all-time greats. He's in my top 5. We lost a legend in 2020. I think most of us are okay with forgetting that year. But this man's legacy will never be forgotten. And in FIFA in particular, his footwork, his turning, he is what you're hoping to receive from Messi. You could say he's a better version of Messi. There's many similarities, characteristics, of course, both Argentinian, both in the top 5 of world football, all-time greats. The way they can slice and dice. And Maradona has the skill moves, a little more explosive in comparison to Messi. I love this foot item. I used the loan for a little while. I've gone up against him. He's able to really give you this extra jolt, a little more burn, sizzle reel. It is the winter time, so maybe we should say that snowflake, ice ski. The impact that Maradona has had on football, unparalleled, unmatched in many regards. We should celebrate the man, his accolades, his achievements, and I always think back, if only we had social media or a way of really and truly recapping everything that went down with Maradona. I know there's the movie that came out and people say this and they say that, but it would have been pure entertainment. Ronaldinho changed the way that people played the game. Creative, true maestro, number 10, always had a smile on his face. We really only got 3 to 4 years where Dino was on top of the world, but throughout those years, his influence, his reach, impact, spectacular. That was the first time that I bought a pair of Nikes, if we're talking about football and boots, because of Dino. And he has a player build in FIFA that is unique to him. His movements, the stutter steps, the turning, the way that he shimmies and he shakes and he body feints. And it's because he used to be a cover star and they have all that built in from previous years. They kept it as they should. And I really rate Dino, at least if you can get the 91 or the 94. It's his prime and his mid that you want. The baby is a little more debatable in terms of usage rate, but the top 2, upper tier. ZIdane. Wouldn't necessarily run him as a center attacking mid, but you could. He's just better built or better suited with the 5-star weak foot, the 5-star skill moves to be a center mid or a holding mid. He's also tall. He has great size. Makes football look easy. Always has, always will do. And I like to leave a disclaimer with ZIdane in particular. You need to grind through somewhere between 25 to maybe 40 matches to really understand, get used to, adjust. It's not just his body type, but almost his movement. But maybe the player build or the model or the structure, whatever substance EA has generated with this in particular guy, there is a learning curve. That's what I'm trying to say. Drum roll, please! Topping the list, and should be a no-brainer if you play FIFA 21 as Pele, not even because of the rating. In fact, I think you take any version of Pele and he'd be number 1 for the center attacking midfield list, or at least my list. This year is the best he's ever been in any FIFA installment. Skills, the dribbling, maybe the bridge dribble comes into play. There's something so special about Pele this year in comparison to previous installments, and it's proven. That's where we're wrapping up the video. Talk to me in the comments, center mids, center defensive mids, especially if we're going hard on the icons. I'd love to know how many Team of the Year packs you have. It's kind of unrelated, but it's still related because that's upcoming. And I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.